Hey folks, welcome to the 14th episode of the DevConnect show. Today, our guest is from Bangalore, India. He's a solution director and has 24 years of experience in Microsoft technologies and 12 years of experience in Dynamics and Power Platform. Currently, he has been playing with Microsoft Copilots and OpenAI GPTs and has created multiple custom GPT plugins. He has created a couple of courses on Power Pages, Power Platform, Copilots, which he shares it on his YouTube channel. He's a blogger and a YouTuber where he shares his finding with the community. So please welcome Sriram Balaji. Hey Sriram, welcome to the DevConnect show. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks.
Yeah. You have created lots of co-pilots now, a lot of custom GPT plugins, and it was really interesting to see some of your really cool stuff. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show and accepting my invitation.
Thanks, Anish, for having me on the
Um,
show. Appreciate it.
yeah. So let's start with some questions. Let's get to know you, right? So what are your hobbies?
I uh, I like to travel and I like to listen to music. I was in US for quite a long, like 8 years now. So every weekend I used to travel. I like nature, so every weekend was like a drive to any of the falls or mountains or something. I like nature a lot, so I like to drive. Yeah,
Uh,
so that's my passion. And
so which place in US did you like the most?
I like Washington, because even though it rains, it's kind of gloomy. But when it's when it's sunny, it's beautiful. It's like I can go to Vancouver from Seattle at 3 hours drive, or take a train. It's just you could go to Canada, and then a few minutes you can just go to the mountains, in just like an hour or so and stuff like that. So
Right.
yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. I've just visited Seattle for a brief, like for MVP Summit, and that's all. But we like to travel too, me and my wife. But Seattle is one place, or Washington is one place where we haven't been yet. So probably in future. We also love mountains, so there's something in common between us. um, so, how did you start your journey in CRM?
Sure. Um, I started the journey with Dynamics CRM 2011. It was known as Dynamics CRM back then. So uh, before that, I was into Visual Basic, ASP.NET, and .NET. So one of my first projects was in way back. It's 1999. So we used Visual Basic and VBA for Word. So I worked at the World Trade Center. That's in New York City. One of the twin towers, the World WTC2. So this was an app we created for reinsurance brokers using Visual Basic. That was one of the projects I worked on. So then I moved to .NET, starting from .NET 1 and various versions of .NET and ASP.NET. I worked in 6 different cities across the US: New York City, San Jose, South Bend, Rochester, Hartford, Boston, all the different coasts: East Coast, West Coast, Midwest. And it was more like a nomad. I loved it a lot. That bachelor life, it's like moving from one city to other. So
Right.
after that, I came back to India, and then I again went back to Seattle or Redmond, where I had a project with Microsoft, where I was working for Infosys, Infosys the vendor. So I was involved in creating a tool called SSMA, SQL Server Migration Assistant. So I actually worked with the SQL Server product group there. That's when I actually traveled with my wife then. So that's where we traveled a lot. Like every weekend, we make sure we travel somewhere. So it's like we planned it. That was yeah, I really miss those days. Yeah. So once
Nice.
after that, I came back to India in 2010. Since I had a background in data migration, one of the first projects I worked on was for a data migration module for one of the CRM projects. It was CRM 2011. So there was actually an exercise component called Kozurok. There was no Kingsway Soft then, so we had used that. So that's where I stepped into dynamic CRM and then ventured into different parts of CRM. So the data migration was the first thing, and I worked in multiple versions, like mostly on-premise versions to start with, like after 2011, 2013, 2016, and then Dynamics 365, that's the online version, and then subsequently the Power Platform. In Power Platform, I've played with PCF control. That's when I recall that you also created the wonderful tool to create the like PCF builder, right? Where instead of CLI, we created that. That's when I started blogging. That was back in 2019. I actually published like 5 controls to the PCF gallery. I think I interacted with many like Jiva, Andrew, and stuff like that. As also Hemant, they're very open to feedback. The team, it was
Right.
really good. And then I also uh, published. I had some interaction with Guido, to publish that to the PCF gallery. Uh, my my actually the why I like PCF because I had earlier worked on ASP.NET server controls. It was all server side, so I had a passion for that. So I was just see how can we do everything for Dynamics here, and it's more like client side. It's not like server side. That's was one of the interesting things for me. That's I wanted to play with that. So yeah.
Yeah, and I actually visited your website, and I saw you had created a Mario's game in web, and so I can see that you're very passionate about UI and front end, so called.
Just to,
And I loved I like it took me back
Yeah, no,
like all the
just
Mario
to correct,
controls.
no, that was not my site. My kid Anirudh was playing with that. That was his site. He's one of the youngest Power Platform certified, Azure certified in the world. At the age of 9, he cleared that. He was actually my website was it was not working, so he actually was playing with that. So initially, the template he had it was his website. So I think he's the one who
Oh.
created. He created in Power Apps that the Mario game, and then he showcased in one of the shows with Rory. I think you know Rory Neri, right? So one of the kids Power Apps
Mhm.
for kids, he showcased that. So yeah, it was just,
Nice. Yeah, I need to bring your kid
yeah, yeah.
also on the show then.
Definitely, definitely do that, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, super, super. Um, and again, you have so much of experience in the technology industry. 24 years, I believe, right, and plus. So, what would be the one advice that you would give someone who is starting early in their tech career?
One thing I would say is like focus on the learning, because initially when you start off, the more you learn and mastering your skill, that's what applies. Then that will pay you back forward. And what I've learned, I learned it late, but try to share whatever you learn with others. That in that way, the thing is, there's a community. If there's anything you have that kind of sense of community, and whatever problems you face, other people should have also faced, right? So try to blog and
Right.
stuff like that. In that way, pay it forward whatever you learned. Try to interact with the community, so that will help you a lot, because you'll not face all the problems like others have faced. That you can learn from each other. So that's, I think, everything else will
Yep.
follow once you do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally 100% resonate with that idea. My so For me, it's like when I'm teaching someone, like if I'm mentoring someone or if I'm teaching someone something. Um, Before I do that, I have to relearn everything again. And when I'm relearning everything again, I'm learning something new
Yeah.
every
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
right? Something new techniques, something new improvements, and that helps me grow as well. That's one of the things that I have learned as I'm teaching, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely. It's just two-way, right? It's not just each person
yeah,
has something unique. You may not, once you have share that, that's when that helps. That really helps everyone. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so let's talk about your co-pilots that you have created using GPT-4, and you have created multiples of them. How many did you create so far?
Around 6 now. Yeah.
Wow, around six. Wow, yeah. But then, what prompted you to do so?
Okay. Like, I inspired my son Anirudh. he actually when they released ChatGPT, right? So he wanted to create a custom version of ChatGPT. I mean, with the same UI using the OpenAI API. So he's played with it a lot. And what he also did once he created, I mean, his YouTube channel has that. So he created a custom version of ChatGPT, and he actually participated in one of the programs from Intel called AI for Youth. That's for CBSE students in India. He was one of the youngest to participate. So he submitted a project where that custom version of ChatGPT for students. So where they can upload a lesson, and then they can get answers out of it, right? So once he actually watched the Dev Day Summit. That was the first Dev Day by OpenAI. He told me, okay, he took almost a month to create it. It's more, I mean, it was all pro code. I mean, you need to use Next.js, Pinecone, and all that, right? So the same thing when GPT is released, custom GPT is released from OpenAI. So what he did is he tried to do the same thing what he had done. It took a month. It took just an hour to do it. So that's the power of it. It's more like a no code way of creating a custom GPT. So you don't have to create the whole UI, everything, and everything is taken care of. Like all the embedding, everything is taken care of. So all you need to do is just I'm just going to walk through that. So it's a no code way of creating. A GPT. Yeah, so that's why I was inspired by it, and I was thinking how uh, you know can we because there are already co-pilots there which Microsoft has built for the Power Platform, like Power Platform, Power Apps Copilot, Table Copilot, and so on, right? So there are some things where is there anything I can complement it? So because there's nothing like a Copilot which can generate plugin code. It was because it used to generate a table, but I can't generate a plugin or a client script. Those are the way that's only the code, but also I was looking into how can you create a data model. Typically when we go to a client workshop, right, you're new to the domain, and then when you talk to them, you just have to create a POC to just make sure they're comfortable that this is the platform. Then there I created a data model GPT. I'll be walking through where if you give the domain and industry domain, it'll give you some ideas on what is the data model. So what you can do is you can take that and actually paste it into table copilot. It'll create a table for you. So it's like how can we complement each other, both the Power Platform Copilot and the custom GPT, so that you get the best of both worlds. That was the main idea I had, and how can we increase the productivity of developers, like with all the tools we have. Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yeah, so now am I excited to see how you can build custom GPTs.
So this is okay. So let me start with directly diving into it. Copilots. What I wanted was like, as I told earlier, right? How can we help the developers? Along with uh, the copilots which are available in Power Platform, how can you build GPTs that complement each other? And the other idea I had was how can we help in the different phases, right? So typically in the discovery phase, when we go to clients or client workshops, we need to create really quickly applications, so that we can actually showcase that we can do it. We don't have to go to the details. So the first thing that comes up was the consultants is they don't know the data model, the industry they may need, because even they worked on dynamic CRM, but they're not familiar with the industry. So this is where this helps. So yeah, I can go to the customer workshop and then show them, to use this tool to create a data model. Let me go ahead and say create a data model for dealer management. So before, see, these four are the examples. So the thing is they can actually know what the copilot, how to give the prompts. The basically things, everything is natural language, right? So the art and science is how to create a prompt. So these are just the pointers where
Right.
what questions you need to ask, so that if there are anything specific, they can change it accordingly. For here, I'm just showing a dealer management system. So what it's doing, if you look at right, so this is a data model of it. One is the dealers. So you have the dealers, you have the vehicles, you have the sales, the customers, and then also it gives you the what is the data type for it, right? So what I can do, I can take this. This is what I was saying. How can we? Let me scroll a little bit further. Okay. So this was I was saying, right? So how can we combine both this and Copilot, right? So why is it okay? I'll go to Power Apps Copilot. I have a table Copilot. I'll just go and copy and paste this, right? So when I hit this, so what this does is it'll show a table for me. This is the table you need to create, and I can go and hit create. I'll not be creating it. So this is what I was saying. The synergies
Right.
between the two. The thing is, I can take the data model, what is created there, and then paste it here, so I can quickly create a table. So that was one thing I wanted to show. Um, a
Mhm.
couple more. Let's say the typical other thing we need to have is can you create ERD for the data model, right? So that everyone understands is on the same page. So I'll say, can you create an ERD for the data model? So this what this does, this creates a ERD using Plant UML. So I can use
Yeah.
any of the online Plant UML editors and actually visualize it. That's what it's doing now. So it is creating that this one. So this ERD it says, and then what are the different? It shows the different entities and the different relationships. So it's once you take it,
Yeah.
this is another artifact out of your workshop. So the client will be more confident. Okay, this is the high level, the data model, what it will look like because you can share as a artifact. So this will help us a lot during the discovery. Yeah. So this is
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, plant UML is big. Like, if you can generate plant UML, you don't have to create diagrams anymore, right? In visuals and
yeah, yeah.
whatnot, you can just
It makes it easier.
embed your plant
Exactly.
UML, and that's it done.
Right. I mean,
That's
I know
cool.
I second that because it's a pain to just drag and drop Visio and everything. It's I think,
Yeah,
right. If it makes it easier for us,
yeah,
to create that, so we don't have
yeah,
to draw and all the formatting and all that. Yeah, it takes.
yeah. And especially, like, we are not gonna create 3 or 4 tables. It's gonna be
Yeah,
like tens and 15s and 20
yeah.
tables, right?
That's
So
where it gets.
then, if this helps with that, then I think so that would be
Yeah,
awesome.
so that's what we need. If you combine this, just the table definitions, because table Copilot cannot create multiple tables at a time, so you can do one by one. You have to do just, but at
Right.
least it'll give a starting point, and then this you can show the ERD. You don't have to create for like 20 or 25 tables. As it gets bigger, table
Yeah.
it's a lot of work. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is a good. Okay. Thing I just want to. This is the you're in the discovery phase, right? So
Hmm.
I'm done with the data model and and the tables, everything I've created. So next thing, let's move to the development phase, right? So in the development phase, what I can do, let's say I have my table created and everything. So the next thing is, let's say there's some business logic, right? Business logic. 'Cause typically, what we do, I mean, I'll just give an example in the current project. I mean, typically now everyone uses like Azure, typically Azure DevOps or Jira, right? So like, I'm the development phase. I'm an architect. So what I do is I write a user story and as well as a task. Let's say I create a plugin for so and so, requirement, right? So what I do is I'll just give the functionality of the business logic what a plugin should do, right? So so this is where this comes in. So what I can do, I can go to ADO, and actually as an architect, actually I've defined the logic, and the developer will pick up and create a plugin, right? So let's take this example. This is just an example. The thing is to show what we can do. So this, let's assume, we have this. I've given my user story. This is the approach the developer has to follow, right? So we create a plugin on creation of contact. The functionality plugin is creates a task with regarding his contacts, contact ID, and subject as contact's full name. So what this does, it goes ahead and creates it and gives me the code, right? So this I can actually, this is, see, the thing is, this is a tool. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not like whatever it generates is everything, is every time it's accurate. But the thing is, it just gives you a starting point, but you still need to know your coding. It can make mistakes, but it definitely gives you a starting point for instead of starting from scratch. So they can your developers can use it. to quickly run through it, and whatever extra thing, there's some bugs or anything like that, if they encounter it, they can actually change it. Maybe sometimes it's the field names, it may be exactly the schema, the schema names, the fields may be a little bit different or stuff like that. They can actually do it. So
Right.
the good thing would be, what I would suggest is, here it's very we can make it more specific. Let's say I can say I have a table, let's say contact, let's say tag contact is there, and I have all these fields there. I can give the schema field names, and then if I say that,
Mm-hmm.
so if I do that in my user story itself, if I clearly say that, then the thing is, this will actually give, it'll pick up all those field names and the schema names of those fields, and create a plugin which is very close to what you need, and then you can tweak it as appropriate. So this is
Right.
another way you can use it to for your customization. You can use this Copilot. The same thing. What you can do, I'll just, yeah, go ahead.
So sorry, I do have a
Yes,
question here. So the code that was generated by the
yes,
tool, is that something that was automatically like the GPT-4
correct.
pulled out the code from somewhere, as an example? But can you customize this, like the output of the code? Can that be customizable?
The thing is, this code is, that's the thing. It's all depends on the instructions you give, because this is based on whatever logic you explained here. So this is, it's trying to
Mm-hmm.
create based on that, right? So
Hmm.
the thing is, all you have here, your lever here is your natural language prompt, right? That is what you have it in your hand. So
Right.
you have to play with that. The thing is, I mean, if you look at it, I mean, it's pretty accurate though. I mean, it's not. Yeah.
Right, but then what caught my eye
Oh yeah.
was because most of the time, most of the companies would have their own plugin base created, right? So and most of the time, what I've seen is every time ChatGPT would give you examples of using iPlugin, but most of the time in companies, no one uses iPlugins. Everyone uses plugin base. Everyone uses plugin tracers and like the custom things. So if we have to create this custom, GPT prompts, or custom GPT-2 plugins, then is there an ability for us to say, hey, don't use this code, but then use a code that I
No,
provide?
we can check on that. We can see what you can do. I was creating a plugin, right? We can give some samples for it, because you can. I've not tried it though, but it's a good question you have. It's a valid point, right? So you have your own code base. Can we do it? I mean, I've not tried it, but
Right.
what you can do is you can actually maybe give some samples to it. This is what I have, or can you? It also gives you an ability to upload the files. I've not tried it, but based on that, can it actually generate the code? We have to check that, so that it kind of
Hmm.
aligns to your code base. Yeah. So I mean, there's another option too.
Uh,
The thing is, there is a GitHub Copilot, so that's what it exactly does. I mean, it's, each tool has its own pros and cons, right? So that is another option. If you can do it using this, that's
yeah.
fine. Or there's another option is GitHub Copilot. The thing is, GitHub Copilot, it knows, it sits in a VS Code as an extension, and then it has access to the code on your machine. Then when it generates the code, I think it takes that to generate the code. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
right
yeah,
tool for the
that
job,
yeah,
right?
I have,
That's what.
yeah, I have GitHub Copilot, and I'll tell you, like, uh 9 out of 10 times it knows exactly what I'm thinking in my head, and it will prompt me the entire code sometimes, and I just have to do tab, and that's it. Done.
Yeah,
The entire code is ready for me. It reduces so much of coding
yeah,
efforts.
definitely. I think that's the thing, right? That's where, I mean, it's, you have to do the right tool for the job. So whatever, I mean, if
Yeah,
that's a tool, whatever, yeah, maybe that's another option. We have multiple options. I mean, yeah,
yeah, yeah, and then more the merrier,
yeah.
right?
So,
Yeah.
any questions? I mean, can you move on?
No, I'm excited to see how you can build this
Sure.
custom GPT
Sure.
plugins now.
So the next one I'll walk through is the Parapps client script copilot. So this one, that was just the server side code. Now what I'm showing you is the client side code, right? So I
Hmm.
just these are just examples. So here I'm the same example. I'll say I have a user story where I have an ADO which with a task saying create a form JavaScript, and I give the entire logic for it. So this is what I'm doing here. So I'm just saying this is the on-change example. Create a client script for the on-change event for the name field in the account one Dynamics 365. The script does the following, and I just give the business logic clearly. I explain what I need to do, and I make sure whatever I reference, the fields which are referenced, they are the schema names, right? So then it does a pretty good job of creating that event, and then and just and it also gives the what I mean. If the thing is, this also the one other thing to thing is like this is not just one is generating the code. Also, the thing is you can ask questions like if you're a newbie, right? How can we start or stuff like that. This can help you on that, right? So this will more like a assistant for you in the sense if you're new to it what you need to do and stuff like that. So if you see here, it not only just gives the code but it also tells you what you need to do. But where you say a GitHub Copilot, it'll just give you the code, right? And it's good at coding, but this is more than that, right? Not only the coding, it will give you instructions of if you're a newbie in the sense like you are new to this, so you
Right.
can use that as a guidance also. Yeah, so that's another thing I
Right.
just need to highlight here. So this is the client script. So next one, I'll go with PCF controls. Okay, so here also the thing I'm seeing, right? Let's say I'm new to PCF controls. I can actually these are just a few questions like how can I create a PCF control, and I can, let's say, give a scenario. How can I for the scenario and blah blah blah. I can do that. So this is where when I'm new to it, I actually this will be like my assistant for me to initially to start off. So more it'll onboard me to the something new I'm learning, and then it'll also a similar way we can actually see TypeScript example. I'm just saying. So this will actually go ahead and create a example of a PCF search box. So it gives all the different steps. So this is what I was just I'm trying to read to the same thing. Not only just gives you the code, but also says what you need to do. Right. So the steps, it gives you the
Right.
steps. So yeah, that's the additional thing it does.
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. Um, Let me ask this: is there Greg? So this is cool, actually. Yeah. So what I'm saying is,
So it's doing the real-time
right?
search with
So
Bing.
when I say it's a color grid control, I'll show you why. I mean, how it does it. What I have also put there. So it actually gives me there are color grid control, and also gives me the links for it. So that's pretty powerful. The thing is. It also just goes through the web, not only and just if it doesn't know that information, it doesn't have it in its knowledge base, it can go ahead and use the browser plugin and then run and get that information, right? So that is the another thing. Yeah. So
Hmm.
this is the PCF controls copilot. Sorry. This one. Yeah. Okay. This one, the next one I want to highlight is the Power Platform help. Typically, the thing is when you're doing development, the thing is you will be stuck. Typically, I mean, you're getting an error, and then you have to go to a forum and just search, in Google or Bing to get the answer, right? So this is kind of helps you there. So what it does, this actually only searches the Microsoft resources and forums. Yeah. So I'll just, let's say this is the error I have. I just took what typical error you get, right? I just am actually missing this privilege. So what I need to do, how can I do it? So what it does, it actually goes through the multiple forum sites, Microsoft forum sites, and tries to get the answer for it and say that, right? So what you can do here is you can't just open the whole web and just search for it. You can try to limit it and say, hey, you know what, I don't want you to go and search anywhere and everywhere. I can just say you need to only go to these sites. I can also say a good example, I can walk through the uh, other copilot, right? Like the licensing one. I'll show you the code for that also. What we did, because one thing I need to highlight there is I'm not using any of the built-in tools like browser or Dolly or whatever. So the thing is, I can say I upload this licensing document. I don't need you to go and search the web and figure it out. Like everything you have, you just it should be within that uh, you know within that PDF document licensing guide, because I don't want to give wrong answer. If it doesn't know, it says I don't know,
Yeah.
right? So that is where
Right.
I can actually impose the limits for it, right? So what I'll do, I'll just go ahead
Right.
and this is a good point where I can show this Power Platform licensing assistant. So these are the different questions you can ask. So what I'll do is I'll actually show the code how I built it. So that makes it uh, easier. So here this is what I was saying. I'll go through in a minute what is the prompt I gave, because the thing is what happens is when I create it, I give a prompt something like this. I'll show you that also. Make a make a copilot with all these what it needs to do, and that it gets actually converted to this. Like we have the name of
Hmm.
the custom GPT, the description, and main thing is the instructions, what it needs to do. And main thing I want to highlight here, if you see, uh, the GPT is a platform licensing assistant specialized in answering questions regarding the platform licensing, right? So if based on the licensing guide, it should strictly refer to the guide for the information, right? That is what this is the guardrails or the limits you put it to it, because it should not do it here. And
Hmm.
if a query falls outside the guide scope, or it can't find the answer, you just candidly respond, I don't know. So you have to give clear instruction there. So this ensures accurate, relevant information is given, and you should not speculate any answers unless it's stated in the guide. So the other point I wanted to highlight. Let me go here. So these are the
So these are the instructions that you are giving to the GPT prompt
correct.
that goes and runs through the LLM.
Correct. So this is what the prompt, yeah, it lends to the LLM, and you can give your conversation status. You can give it only show four, but terms multiple more you can create, but it doesn't show that. But one thing why I wanted to
Hmm.
highlight here is this is the knowledge it has, right? So what I'm saying, I can upload a PDF file here. Knowledge can be any kind of file you can download. So what it'll do, it'll only refer to the knowledge it has, right? Whatever uploaded. But if you see, there are other capabilities like web browsing, Dolly, and code interpreter. I have deliberately, I could have enabled web browsing here, right? But I didn't. Why? I
Hmm.
don't want it to speculate if something is there in the web. I mean, it may be inaccurate because this is licensing, right? Uh, we don't want to put some guardrails saying that it should not kind of hallucinate or make up something which is on the web in the web. So it should restrict
Right.
itself to the PDF file. This is where it's very important that what you need to do. You have to know the thing is it okay? You have to give this for your use case. Uh, is it okay to give all these capabilities like web browsing? Here, it's a definite no, because I want it to refer to the PDF file, right? So this is one
Hmm.
thing I wanted to highlight. So yeah, so this is the bar license guide. Any questions here?
No, I think that this is
Okay.
straightforward.
So, okay, now I'll also show how to create GPT from scratch, so that, and then I can go through another PCF or any of the pro code one.
Hmm.
So here, Danish, the thing is, when we make a use a GPT builder, you have to give a prompt, okay, and then once you click this, then what it'll do, it will actually create an instruction based on that, right? So what I'll do,
Hmm.
I'll say. Um, Okay, wait, so can make a PCF. Okay, you wanted to go PCF control now here itself, or I can just say anything else. That's fine either, because I just want to show how you give the instructions. Typically, okay, before even I start, the way you give a prompt is there are ways to do it. So the thing is, the Copilot has to do a task. That is, you specify the task it has to do, right? You can say, you can give it like make a this Copilot which will generate PCF controls, right? That is the task. The second important thing is, what are the limitations of the guardrails we need to put on top of the task, right? So I can say, in the instance I did with the power licensing guide, I put a restriction. Okay, the thing is, you only search this PDF document and don't go and search anywhere. If you don't know, you search. You say you don't know that. You just don't. Generate or hallucinate answer. That's a very important point. So those are the two things to keep in mind. I mean, there is much more in prompt engineering, but to start with, I would not go into the detail of it. Only at least you know what task you need your Copilot to do, and also what are the guardrails. So let's try. Or else you can say make a PCF control Copilot, or I can say you are PCF control Copilot. Okay. Uh, uh, you can generate. The user will give you a prompt to uh, create a PCF control, and you will. This is what I mean. It's almost you're actually giving an instruction to a person, right? You assume that. So you are a PCF control Copilot who is an expert, right? In PCF controls, and I can just put TypeScript and React, because typically we use these three, TypeScript and React. Usually it'll give you a prompt to create a piece of control, a prompt which details functionality for control, and you will respond with the code. You can also refer to the PCF gallery for any controls and respond controls. I just put that's also I see that. And what else? Okay, so this is the task I'm giving. I want this Copilot to do. Next, I'll put my guardrails, right? So if you don't know the answer, don't try to come up with an answer, and inform the user that I don't know. So this is the guardrails. There's two parts to it. One is the guardrails. First is the what you're supposed the Copilot needs to do, and what are the guardrails, right? So I'll
Right.
click this one. This is where it does all the magic, right? So you'll see now, because this is more like you're telling all the instructions, that it'll actually it'll make it more verbose. I think you'll see it in a minute, right? So I see it actually creates its own questions. What are the typical questions you can ask? So I can, like, if I go to here, I mean, this is a PCF code helper, right? It's not gonna work for you. I say yes, yes. I just say yes, and then it'll actually do that. Okay, it'll also ask you for any kind of a image, a profile, generating a profile picture. If you don't like it, you can also tell that, let it do its thing. We'll come back to it. So PCF control. What was the, what do we call it? Yeah, PCF code helper. Okay. Okay, so this is what it did. I mean, I just give you a small prompt, and then it actually expand on it. If you look at it, it gives the description, and then you can see it. This is what it expanded instructions. You're a PCF control expert, blah blah. Your primary role is stressing and all this. You can reference PCF controls, manipulate the user's prompt. You can see all you have to do. If this one, it actually expanded on what I had given, right? And also it went
Right.
ahead and actually created these. questions. I mean, if you're not satisfied, you can go ahead and change it. You know, all
Mm-hmm.
this you can do. And the main important thing here, the thing is, I'm okay with using the web browsing capability, right? So I can go ahead because it has to browse the PC Gallery website and stuff there. But I don't need to generate any images or anything for. So I would
Right.
do that. And also I don't need a code interpreter. Code interpreter actually will execute any Python code to. It can be anything, creating a file or stuff like that. But I'm not doing any of that. It's basically what I'm doing. I'm generating the code, and also I'll allow it to go ahead and browse the web and what information. And I'm also kind of nudging it to look at the PCF gallery. That's that.
Mm-hmm.
And let me save. So when I save, it can be only me. It can publish to only me, or only people with the link, or you can make it public. So I'll just say only people with the link, right? Um, okay. I'll just give this. It'll ask you. This is just a thing. What you need to do. So I'll say. For what was that? I remember the text. What was the latest you published, Danish? That text box. What was that? I just
Custom
custom
label.
label. Custom label. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll just see how it can pick it up. Okay, maybe it doesn't peg. Okay. It actually is giving that, but if I prompted to just check the PCF gallery, maybe it would have looked at that. So,
Mm-hmm.
so the data is creating that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes what Danish, the thing is, the way GPT-4 works, it may not give sometimes it will not give the full code. If you say that you want to expand the code, it actually, this is not just for this, it's for anything. The thing is, it doesn't give the
Right.
entire code. The thing is, you have to tell step by step, if you want to expand, let's say it will give just placeholders with empty functions, right? You can ask it to, hey, you just
Right.
give me the code for it, then it will expand on that. So good thing, as I said,
Right.
not only gives the code, it will give you the instructions for what you can do, to create the control. There's one thing I just want to, it's important, I just wanted to highlight when you're creating controls, not control, I mean to say custom GPTs. So let me just bring it up. Okay, I'll go to here. This option will not be available once initially, only when you save it, you get that option. The important thing is, okay, where did it go? So there's one more thing called create new action. This is we are not using it. Uh, the thing is, this you can use it. I'm not worked on it, but I just want to add that the thing is, if you have any kind of external data, you need to get from, maybe I'm just taking weather. That's the simplest example, right? You want to query a uh, weather service to get the weather, and South Carolina, whatever city in South Carolina, like Columbia and South Carolina, right? So it can get that. So for that, you will create an action. So and tell it what when it will need to invoke. So it will intelligently, when you ask that question, what is the weather in Colombia, so it will actually query that service and get you that. So I'm not explored with that. So that is one thing. There's
Mm-hmm.
one more thing. It is not showing up here. Let me open another um, thing. I just want to show that. Okay, let me see whether it will show it here. Yeah, this I don't know. I'm not sure why was it not showing that. There's something called additional settings. Where
Mm-hmm.
this is important here, where you say, uh, can it use conversation data in your GPT, whatever people are conversing it with it, right? So can it use it for training to improve their model? So they can go, if they are not happy with that, they don't want this whatever data that tools people are conversing with, they can actually turn it off. This is one setting I just want to highlight. Yeah,
Mm.
that was.
Yeah. That's a very crucial setting, especially when you're uploading your own knowledge articles.
Yeah. So and the thing is, and people are
Yeah.
also skeptic, where this is my data, will it use the train the model? Because that's the question here everyone has in their mind, right? So that is one.
Right.
And the other thing is, this is I'm using ChatGPT Plus. There's also another version called ChatGPT Enterprise. So I think if you have ChatGPT Enterprise, what I've read is, I mean, and I don't know, but you can have your own, GPTs only for your org or your department or stuff like that, so that you can only share with your department, right? So it doesn't go out of
Mhm.
your organization. That also you could do. Yeah, just wanted to mention that.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, you just give the prompts and the custom GPTs are ready for you, and then you go and tweak it. This is much better than writing, no, Pinecone or any
That's what,
TypeScript
yeah.
code,
So
right?
unless you write the pro code, then you'll get all the pains of it, right? So I seen like you work
Yeah,
like a few weeks and to create this whole thing. This you don't need to do. I mean, all you need to do is make sure it has the knowledge, and if you want to
yeah,
just additional capabilities you can add. These are the most of things will get covered within the capabilities itself. If it's something unique to your organization or some kind of API you need to call, maybe that's creating a new action. So that's one.
right.
And there's one other thing I just want to mention, because this is because now the thing is they're talking about Microsoft Copilot Studio, right? So what I've read in the initial documentation, they'll have custom GPTs you can create within the Microsoft Copilot Studio itself. This is what I read in the. It's still
Yeah,
not that, but I think there's another way you can create it. You don't have to come to the interface from within. I don't know how it will look, but just wanted to add that. So I don't know when it will come also. But yeah, I
yeah,
think definitely they will do that, so that there's another way you can utilize it, right? So each one, I mean, you can use it uh, as you want. This is like, because this is gives you a more
right.
wider thing, not just the code like GitHub Copilot or any of the our developer focused Copilot Pro code. This can also help in other ways also to like maybe a user story Copilot. I don't know. I'm just it's all live left to imagination, right? It can help your a business analyst or some way. I mean, if you give they expand on it,
Yeah,
so that those things that can. I mean, main thing, my focus is more how can we help the development team to just speed up things. Microsoft has given us some tools, and can we create something, yeah, on top of it, or any gaps are there? How can we cover that so that it makes it all of life easier? Yeah, that's it.
yeah, and it's all about like delivering as fast as you can, right? So if GPT is going to help you do that, or if Microsoft Copilots are going to help you do that, or combination of both, then you should look into that, right? That's what the call out is
Yeah,
here.
use the right tool
Yeah,
for the job, right? So yeah, whatever makes your life easier.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep,
cool. I mean, you're getting great time now.
absolutely.
The thing is, there are so many things which I couldn't have dreamed of. It's like so many things that that can help you to make your uh, develop your applications faster. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks, Sriram, for coming on the show, showing us how you can create your own custom GPT tools and plugins. And thanks for sharing the knowledge with me
Hey,
today.
thanks a lot for having me. I mean, I really appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.